This is the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles.
Everybody, it's Greg Bedard with the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast here without Nick Cattles, who apparently is traversing the Eastern Seaboard and too busy to podcast with me, but he's not too busy to tweet his face off about the Patriots, which is what he's been doing. I see you, Nick. Just kidding. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. PrizePicks, run your game. Also, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. Okay. This is probably going to be an offensive line heavy discussion. We will get into the recent news, and we might touch on sort of the depth chart at this point with the Patriots later on. But let's start with the news that Cam Robinson, the former Vikings and Jaguars left tackle, signed a one-year contract with the Houston Texans worth between 12 and like $14.5 million. Obviously, if you listen to this podcast, you know the name Cam Robinson because we've discussed him a lot. He was a guy who was available. Definitely the two guys who I had ranked ahead of him were they went early. Jalen Moore and Dan Brown. Dan Brown got a ridiculous amount of money from the Titans. Jalen Moore went to the Chiefs for the more reasonable $15 million, 2 years. And then after that, it's sort of you're dealing with a lot of guys. I mean, they all have warts, but these guys really have warts. Cam Robinson was a draft pick of Doug Marrone in Jacksonville. So you thought there might be an in there if the Patriots weren't in on Cam Robinson, which it's what I'm hearing. Mike Giardi reported it today on Twitter from BSJ, reported that the Patriots were not in on him due to off-field football character concerns, all that stuff, which I have heard as well. You thought it was a reasonable fallback. If they didn't get Jalen Moore, who I heard they were interested in, they would not go over the top of the Chiefs for Moore, who hadn't yet been a full-time starter yet. They didn't want to go over. Some people are reporting they were in on Dan Moore. I've heard they weren't really in on Dan Moore. So make of that what you will. But you figured now, like after that, you figured Cam Robinson, who, look, he was a first-round pick. He's played in the league. I did not love his film. I'm glad I don't have to watch him this year. And you're probably saying, like, well, Greg, are you glad you get to watch Vidarian Lowe? No, but I like Vidarian Lowe more. I think he's better in the room. I think they have a chance. He has a chance to improve. He has a chance to be better if it is him, which we'll see whether that's the case. That with Josh McDaniels doing what he does and taking care of the left tackle, since they have Morgan Moses on the right side, all that stuff. But I'm sure a lot of Patriots fans are pissed off that here was another option at left tackle that the Patriots weren't in on. And, look, that's valid. I mean, I'm hoping at this point that they bite the bullet and hopefully he's interested. I would go with Tyron Smith. Out of all the guys probably who were available last year, I mean, there's still Jedrick Wills out there, even worse football character. Mike Vrabel was in a room with him last year. So if they haven't gotten him yet, Vrabel didn't like the guy. Tyron Smith, out of all the guys that I watched their film, he played the best. Now he's old and he gets hurt every single year. You just have to know that going in. But to me personally, he'd be a perfect guy that say the Patriots go in another direction at 4, but then we're talking top of the third, maybe top of the second, trading into the bottom of the first for an offensive tackle, whether it's Justin Simmons from Ohio State or Kelvin Banks or whoever, Tyron Smith, you get a half a season out of him minimum, then, maybe he buys time, total pro, rookie can watch him, all that stuff. But I would doubt that's going to happen. I mean, if I had to say right now, I think that the Patriots are I still think they'll sign somebody who maybe has sniffed left tackle at some point. I don't know who that's going to be, but I still think that they would like to plug every position going into the draft, and not have to just draft for need. They have not done that at left tackle yet. I wouldn't say they've done that at left guard yet either. Center is debatable. We will get into Garrett Bradbury in a little bit. But it's slim pickings at left tackle, and I'm sure people are pissed off. I think they have a right to be pissed off. This has not gone according to plan, and we'll get in more on that in a second. So it looks like the draft or bust for the Patriots. It looks like Vidarian Lowe and the draft. We'll see what happens from there. The Patriots also signed linebacker Jack Gibbens, former undrafted free agent of Rabels in Tennessee. He's more of a weak side linebacker. Played a lot last year. Good solid player, runs around, plays a lot of special teams, ups the speed quotient. I think he would be in the mix if, say, the Patriots moved on from Juwan Bentley at some point in time. The word is out. I think G already reported this. Yeah, he reported this today in BSJ that Juwan Bentley has been trimming some weight, that he's more in the range of 230 pounds now instead of 245, 250. We'll see if that gives him a stay of execution here. But, the way that I look at it, it looks like Vrabel is going to be making a lot of changes on that side of the ball. You also have, right now on my depth chart, I have Robert Spillane as the middle linebacker, Christian Ellis right behind him. Interesting that Christian Ellis, the Raiders hosted him on the visit. Now, he is a restricted free agent of the Patriots. He was an undrafted free agent. So really, when they tendering him, they either had to do it at his original level, which is no compensation, it's right of first refusal, or they were going to have to jump up to second round tag that would be the draft pick compensation. Now the difference is it's like 3.5 to like $5.5 million for 1 year. The Patriots, I don't really disagree with them. I mean, I don't think Ellis is a starting caliber linebacker in this league. I think he's more of a special teamer. Of course, they just signed Jack Gibbens. Maybe that's anticipation of them losing Christian Ellis, but he visited the Raiders. The Raiders could sign him to an offer sheet. The Patriots could match, which they can. Obviously, they have enough money to match anything that the Raiders might do. If they don't match the offer, then he leaves and they get nothing in return. So at middle linebacker, I have Spillane, Christian Ellis, and Monty Rice right now. At sort of inside linebacker, more of a weak side linebacker, I have Juwan Bentley over there. I have Jack Gibbens. I have Curtis Jacobs and Andrew Parker. So that is the linebackers right now. They obviously know him. They like him. He knows the scheme. We're seeing this basically morph overnight. They're completely remaking this. Again, I don't think guys like Bentley and Jelani Tavai are going to be here very long. I just don't think that they fit. And we talked about, from watching some of the Titans film, this is a speed, create havoc, run all over the place, run and hit linebackers and stuff like that. And it's not that Bentley can't do that. It's just not his forte. And Tavai really doesn't fit an inside linebacker, and he doesn't really fit an end or outside linebacker in the scheme. So it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. So that's a look at the headlines. And right now I am going to read you tell you about PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long at PrizePicks. Love sitting down for the game. I'll be doing this with March Madness coming up. All the basketball, noon to midnight. Love it. I'll be on there, more or less, all over the place. Love the app. It's so easy. You got to check it out. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. The app is really easy to use to create a lineup. All you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. They have all sorts of sports: basketball, hockey, esports, so much more. The second half of the basketball season is here, and so is March Madness, and the race to the playoffs is heating up on PrizePicks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. Don't miss your chance to cash in as the league's finest fight for playoff positioning. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. So, I wanted to talk about the center position, okay, for a couple different reasons. We all know that David Andrews was released. David Andrews, we finally heard from him. He went on his Quick Snap podcast with Brian Hoyer and addressed it. It was an emergency version, kind of a few days late, but it was released today, Wednesday. David Andrews said, I definitely respect their decision. Do I like it? No. I think I could provide value. I was hoping that I could try and play and just try to get the ship in the right direction, help the organization and the community. He also said, especially with Josh McDaniels back, I knew that offense really well. I had a lot of success in that offense. It fits my play style well, how I like to play, what I like to do. I've had a lot of success in it and was excited for that reunion. So as expected, Andrews was kind of blindsided. He was asked by one of the other hosts about the timing of it because he was released on a Thursday, I think, maybe almost a week ago. And he said that he found out earlier in the week. I can tell you that some people in the organization found out on Saturday. I don't know when that got to Andrews. But again, I'll just reiterate that I disagree with their decision and I disagree with their timing. I just don't understand why now. If you're going to do it, I would do it earlier, before free agency. Not that I think it was really going to matter. I just disagree with it. I mean, with him here in the McDaniels offense, I just think his knowledge, that transition, all of that stuff, I think it could be of some value. And I think if he went through and couldn't do it and retired, or he wasn't that good, I think that David would totally understand. And at least they gave him the chance. So, there's that. Now, the Patriots have signed Garrett Bradbury from the Vikings. That was rumored for a while. I think it's a 2-year deal. I'm just trying to find that. 2-year contract worth up to $12 million with $3.9 million guaranteed. So really, it's a cut rate 1-year deal, and then we'll see. We've sort of touched on Garrett Bradbury in the past. We'll start with this. I never like when a team like the Vikings has a player that they drafted. First of all, this guy was drafted in the first round. I think he was drafted like 18th overall or something like that, like 4 or 5 years ago. Making a very reasonable salary. He had been in-house for them. That they decided to move on from him, release him. There was talk about a trade. That was never going to happen. They released him, and then, did they go out and get like Drew Dahlman, the top center on the free agent market? No. They went out and got Ryan Kelly, who's 2 years older than Bradbury. He's less durable. I mean, basically, the Vikings basically told you, like, they had him. They were like, yeah, we have enough of this. We need to make a change, and we're going to go with a older, tougher, bigger player, and moved on from Bradbury. And now the Vikings did that, and now I'm supposed to be excited about this plan. I don't know. I think that the Vikings kind of know what they're doing, especially on offense. They're totally revamping their offensive line, and they thought this center, who had been there a long time, played a lot of games, he wasn't good enough with them. They couldn't move forward as they're probably trying to win a Super Bowl. They probably think they're pretty close. We'll see with the whole JJ McCarthy thing. But for them to cast Garrett Bradbury aside, I don't know why I should be excited about that. I mean, to me, and the other thing is, I think Bradbury was due to make half of what they gave Ryan Kelly. I think they gave Ryan Kelly like $9 million a year. I think Bradbury was going to make like 4.5 next year. So they just cast him out. I don't know why I should be viewing that as a good plan by the Patriots. I do think it goes along with sort of their offseason on the offensive line, which we'll get into. I have watched one game of film on Garrett Bradbury. I watched him against the Jets last year. It was the only AFC East team that they played against. So obviously, that film would be of use. There's a couple of things that stand out about Bradbury. First, I'll go over the positives. He is a tough little effer. Thing is like, he looks little on film, but he has an inch on David Andrews, but his arms are like an inch shorter, whatever. But he is tough. He is strong. He has a very quick first step, especially when it comes to reaching players. Like, say somebody's just outside his shoulder in the outside zone. Say there's a defensive tackle over his right shoulder, just outside that, and the run is going outside. Like, his job in an outside zone run or what have you, he has to get around that player, even though they have 2 feet on him. He has to get there, and he has to turn them or run them to the sideline. And I will say that Bradbury does a good job with that. Now, I think he's ideally fit for an outside zone scheme, which is what the Vikings ran. It's what they've been running, and the Patriots run some of that, and it'll be useful, but I don't think it's going to be their bread and butter. We'll have to see how that goes. You see if Josh McDaniels has morphed at all. So those are the good things. He's very tough. He fights. He doesn't stop. He keeps trying to reset his feet. Decent agility down the field in the second level. I wouldn't say it's his forte. He's a better run. He's a decent run blocker. Again, in the zone running scheme, we'll have to see how that translates to what the Patriots like to do with, power and duo and all that stuff. His negatives. He's small. Again, the measurables in certain respects are better than David Andrews. But he looks small in the field. He has really short arms. When the big fellas get him at arm's length, when they get into his chest, he's really at a loss. And he really has some issues. The advanced analytics or Pro Football Focus, whatever. He's one of the worst pass blocking centers in the league. I will say another positive. I will say he's excellent at helping other players, with rushers coming. If he's free, if nobody's over him, then he's very good at picking out where to help other blockers, which is nice. But here's my concern. He has big time issues against defensive lines that are bigger. You might remember, I've said similar about Cole Strange. So if it is Cole Strange at left guard, ultimately, if it's not Wes Schweitzer, actually, I think it's Scheitzer is how it's pronounced, who they signed, Jets cast off. If it's Cole Strange and Garrett Bradbury on the inside against bigger defensive lines, look out below. That's going to be an issue. Again, we don't know how this is all going to play out as far as personnel. He's experienced. He's a solid player. You're not married to him. You're not paying him a bunch of money. Maybe they find a center in the draft. Maybe they find an undrafted guy like David Andrews, and all of a sudden that guy is the starter at some point, and then, say goodbye to Bradbury. But he looks smart. He's tough, short and squat, very strong. I think he did like 37 reps on the bench press at the combine. I think David Andrews did like 24, 25. Again, David Andrews had longer arms. If you're asking me, would I rather have a healthy David Andrews or a healthy Garrett Bradbury? I think I would take David Andrews every day and twice on Sunday. I've seen him. Doesn't struggle a lot. He's really good. I would have loved to have seen him have an opportunity to compete for his job. I'm sure David Andrews wouldn't have had a problem with that. Been like, hey, my shoulder's hasn't been ready. I don't blame them for not relying on me. So I'm going to go out there and earn it. And I would have liked to have seen him have that opportunity, but he will not. We will be back in 1 second after I tell you about Game Time. You got to get out to games. We're all sports fans. There's nothing like it. I like to be home too. TV, cheap beers, all that. But you got to get out to the games. The experience, the noises, the sounds, the smells, all that stuff. Your fellow Boston fans, which are always a treat. You got to be there. And Game Time is the place to go to get there. Game Time picks. They have curation that makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. I love the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. The seat views, you get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. That's a must for me. Also, the lowest price guarantee or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. I was just looking on the app. I will say the college basketball tickets in Providence for this weekend, a little pricey, even though I did see the Saturday games in Providence. You can get in for about $200 at Game Time. You know what I would like to do, and when I might ask the wife about, maybe we'll do this. Friday night, Hockey East Championship at TD Garden, $20 gets in right now. If you have a young family, this is the stuff we always used to do. College sports, minor leagues, Providence Bruins, Hockey East, all that good stuff. Get out there. That's on Game Time as well. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Okay. As we get ready to part here, sort of the last segment here, I just a couple of things. So as of right now, my offensive line depth chart is left tackle. First of all, it's need number 1 is my starter. Vidarian Lowe and somebody named Caleb Jones. I don't know who that is. Left guard, need number 3. Wes Scheitzer, Cole Strange, Layden Robinson, City So. Center, Garrett Bradbury, Ben Brown, Jake Andrews. Right guard, Michael Wenu, Tyrese Robinson, Letitia Smith. Right tackle, Morgan Moses, DeMontre Jacobs, Caden Wallace. Basically that the Patriots right now, and we'll see what they do at left tackle, but that they're veteran options. I mean, Wes Scheitzer is a journeyman backup at left guard. Garrett Bradbury wasn't wanted with the Vikings. They told him to kick rocks. We're going to pay a guy 2 years older than you double, and Morgan Moses is 34 years old. Look, rock solid, a solid player, awesome guy, will be great in the locker room. But, again, to me, this is sort of, this is budget shopping for the Patriots, as opposed to, we've talked about it before, as opposed to the defense where you get Milton Williams, Harold Landry, Robert Spillane, Carlton Davis, even, Marcus Epps that they bring in from the Raiders at safety. Of course, they added other guys, Chase on the edge, Jack Gibbens, who we talked about, Kyrus Tonga at nose tackle. There's all these new additions, exciting. You're like, well, this upgrades the Patriots or allows the Patriots to play in this way. And then you look at the offense. So let's just say right now I have on my depth chart, and I'm not going to put Gibbons there, but right now Milton Williams is a starter. Harold Landry is a starter. Carlton Davis is a starter. Robert Spillane is a starter. And I want to say that Marcus Epps is going to be a starter. That's 5 guys. Okay. All experience. They're not old. They're not run down. That's for Mike Vrabel's defense. The starters that I have that they have added on offense, Garrett Bradbury, not wanted by his former team, on the street. Morgan Moses, 34 years old, a lot of miles, and that's it. Mac Hollins is not a starter. I mean, he can start, but he's not a starter. Scheitzer's not a starter. Josh Dobbs is a backup. Austin Hooper is an F tight end, but that was a re-signing. I mean, that the Patriots shop this way, that this is where they are, to me is stunning. And we're going to have to see how it goes. I mean, look, I understand. Mike Vrabel looks at this and he says the quickest way for this team to compete is for me to get my defense going. And I don't doubt that. I think, that's a smart way to go. I mean, are we setting up for the fact that we might have an all offense draft? I mean, okay, that's one way to do it. But, I have to say, I am severely disappointed with what they've done on offense, especially the offensive line. And you look at all these guys who signed elsewhere. I mean, basically, I don't know, there's like 7 guys, the 7 top guys in the offensive line. It wasn't, not a lot of shopping out there. There weren't that many guys available that you would be like, all right, he has a chance to be a decent starter at whether it was left tackle or guard or center. And apparently the Patriots were on all these guys, and they got absolutely none of them. Well, on the other side of the ball, they got exactly who they want, and they got them early, and they overpaid them and all that stuff. And it's just, I just don't understand that. I like you couldn't give a little bit more to the offense, especially the offensive line. And the bigger thing is, whatever happened to this pivoting stuff that we talked about? Like, there's plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, whatever. I mean, Wes Scheitzer, that's like plan E. Garrett Bradbury, that's definitely like a plan C or D. Morgan Moses, love the guy. Again, I think he's going to be great here in the room. You worry about 34 years old, how long he's going to be able to be put up. I mean, that's plan C, call it. Mac Hollins, as far as wide receivers go, Mac Hollins is plan C. So I just don't understand what they're doing. And I look forward to talking to Vrabel at the league meetings. I'm sure we're going to hear more of the same stuff about how Alonzo Highsmith told me that, reminded me that that team building, free agency isn't over, that there's other ways. And I get it. I was there in 2007 when the Green Bay Packers, when they traded a 6th round pick and at the end of training camp to the New York Giants for a running back I had never heard of called Ryan Grant. And he went on to be a beast for them, especially down the stretch. And in the playoffs, ended up being an excellent player, Super Bowl winner, all that stuff. And so, yeah, that stuff happens. But, are you banking on finding these guys on the offensive line that you're going to be able to pluck this guy and that guy? I mean, how'd it go last year? How'd it go the past couple of years where you're trading for Vidarian Lowe and trading for DeMontre Jacobs and Tyrone Wheatley and all these guys. So it's amazing, but it seems like every day the Patriots free agency plan offense is even more and more puzzling, from Mike Vrabel, Ryan Cowden, Elliott Wolf, John Stryker, all these guys. I love what they've done on defense, and I think it's going to help the team. I still believe the team's going to be better, but you can't tell me that they couldn't do more, take bigger swings, some risks on the offense, specifically the offensive line. We haven't even mentioned receiver yet. But we will probably on Friday when I talk with Rick Saratella, our draft guy over at BSJ. We are going to talk all about the draft and the options over there. And so I hope you check that out. But that's it for this episode of the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast. Again, check out Gametime. Love that app. And also check out PrizePicks as you're looking for some entertainment during this very, very busy month of March into April. Again, hope you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later in the week.